All right, I am going to try to do a clean walkthrough of everything we have done in the tech review app so far. The goal will be to just show you everything without all the stops and starts. So we'll see. I am going to get the terminal. I am going to cd Django projects. I believe I have a folder of that name. I do. I am going to start the environment. So I'm going to do source. Actually, I'm going to do an ls real quickly just to see what I have in there. So it's environment 1. So I'm going to do source env01. You probably have VNV, but I named mine here env01. I'm going to go to bin and I'm going to go to activate. So I have activated this. So I am going to do the Django admin. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start project tech review 2. Okay, now if we do a listing, we'll see that we have a tech review 2. I'm going to do cd tech review 2. And I am going to, inside this, I'm going to do Python 3 manage pi start app, and we'll call this tech app. Okay, so it's done. Now, if I go back, and I think I have tree on here. Whoa, yes, I do. It went too far, though. So let's go to Django projects. Let's just do cd tech review 2, and then let's do tree. That gives you a better tree of how it's set up. So there's an outer tech review folder, and inside of that is manage pi. Within that outer tech review folder, there's an inner tech review folder, which you see towards the bottom. And it has the initial URLs and the settings. And then the tech app has the admin and the apps and the models and the tests and the views. All right, so I am going to start Visual Studio Code. If you don't see it up here, you can get it by going to that corner. Click the second little button and then bring up Visual Studio Code. Oh, come on, there it goes. Okay, and I am going to, when it lets me, maximize this. All right, and we have a shell down there. I'm going to go to File, Open Folder, and I'm going to go to Django Projects, and I'm going to do the Tech Review 2. Okay, and I will do OK. All right, so if we look over here, we'll see there's the Tech app, and then there's the Tech Review 2. Right, it has all of those files for us there. So having set all that up, the first thing that we did was to go into the settings under Tech Review 2. One of the things that we needed to do is we need to add, in quotes, tech app whatever you named your app. If it's tech, then that do tech. If it's tech app, do tech app. If it's tech, whatever you named it. For the Python club, it would be for club, or Python, whatever you name it, or club app, whatever you named it. I need to select my interpreter here too, and I want 3.6. And I'm going to disable PyLint. Okay. So down here on the databases, what we did is we typed in, we just copied it, but I'm going to type it in just to make it clearer. Although I am going to go to you can get all this code on GitHub, and I am going there off screen to find this to make sure I type it right. Look at repositories, review 2. So we're going to change the settings high, and we are going to add the database, which will be Django. So it'll be Django DB backends Postgres SQL. Underscore PSYCOPG2. Okay, so that's the, and we need a end quote there. All right, the name of our database will be localhost. Now we've got a couple of other lines we need to add, and again, you can copy and paste this from GitHub. I'm going to name this Tech Review DB. I hope that exists in the database. If not, I will do. So actually, the name is Tech Review DB. I should copy it. And the user is Postgres. Postgres is the default user. And again, it needs to be in quotes. And then we want the password. Which is password1 with the usual p@ssw0rd1. And then we want the host, and this is where it's localhost. And then we want the port, which is just the default port. So we just do empty quotes. So that is the complete setup for databases. And again, we just cut and pasted it in class, and that might be your better route. Okay, so we want to save this file. Okay. Now, another thing that we did real quickly here is that there's a URLs py in Tech Review. We added an include. So this is the URLs py in the Tech Review folder, not in the app folder, but in the project folder. And what we want is to add a path to our app. So we're going to say tech app, And again, if you just named it tech, just use tech. If you named it something else, use whatever you named it, comma, and then we're going to do include parentheses, single quote, tech app dot URLs. But I will put a comma after that. Okay, what that does is it redirects the application to go look for the URLs in tech app. So there isn't a URLs file in tech app. So I'm going to do a new file, and it's going to be urls.py. And I am going to add just a tiny bit here because otherwise it gives us an error. I am going to import the Django URLs, import from the Django URLs. Path, okay? And I'm going to do URL patterns. So let's go to URL patterns equals square brackets, and that should have an N in it. Okay, so that'll give us, that should be enough to keep us from crashing. I'm going to do save all. So that gives us all of that. I want to check so I guess I'll just open Firefox. I'll use the I'm going to start PHP admin. I want to make sure that the database is there. So I do that. The username is Postgres, and the password is the P at SSW0RD1. So I have a tech certificate. I don't have the ones that we need for this class. So I am going to create a database, and I'm going to call it Tech Review DB. All right, just a sec. I was recording a video. Okay, was it short or?
No.
Okay. Tech Review DB, and I'm going to make it template 0 just to be safe, and I'm going to create it. So we have a Tech Review DB. I actually want to, let's see if I can rename it. I did a capital R in there, and I probably shouldn't have done that. We can fix that by going here to settings, and I can capitalize the R here and save it. They have to match. That's the main thing. They have to match. All right, so I'm going to go, we'll go back URLs here. I'm going to add a terminal. I haven't done that yet. I may need to set this up to be in the environment, so I might need to do CD and then do source env01 then activate. Okay, that isn't env01. Oh, I know why, because I did the wrong quotes. All right, let's just go back. So it's source env01 bin activate. I just run it the wrong way because I'm used to Windows. All right, so we've got that. I'm going to do cd to Django projects slash tech reviews 2. And there's no S in tech review. All right, so still not there. All right, so we want to do cd tech review 2. Why is it not giving me that? It's there. Tech review 2. Oh, I spelled it wrong again. cd tech review 2. Okay, so we're there. So now we can do migrate. So we're going to migrate to the database. Python manage py migrate. So it says that there's no psycho pg2, and that was always the case. So what we need to do is pip install psycopg2. Okay, and then we should be able to do the migrate. And it so it's not, so the name include is not defined. Oh, I know what. So in this path, the URLs path, we have to import include. I had done that in class, but I forgot to do it here. So now if I do it, it should work. Oh, and then I have to save it. If you don't save a file, it doesn't work. And now what is it not like? It wants a path. This is a problem some of you had if you did the migration after we did the URLs. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to add one path. I'm going to do path actually, I might just leave it like that for right now. Let's see if it allows that. A file, save, see if it'll migrate now. No, it doesn't like that. All right, let's lay hold to migrate for later. This isn't going quite as smoothly, but this is a problem some of you had. Once the URLs are in there, it doesn't like you to go forward without. All right, so this is set up. Everything is set up here except for the migrates, which we can do in a bit. So the next thing that we did was we were going to go to views, and we're going to create our first view. So after we do this, we can also migrate. But I'm going to do def index, and it's going to have a request and a colon. And all that's going to be in here is return, render, parentheses, request, and then comma, and we do the tech app slash index.html. Okay, so we have finished. That's the whole first view. Now there's a couple of other things we have to do, and we're not necessarily doing these as the same order as we did in class. I'm going to do a URL, and I'm going to finish this with a comma. Actually, up here we need to import dot views. So I'm not sure. Import from dot views. Okay, and then we can do views dot index. Should see it, and then we'll do name equals index. All right, so we're going to save those two. I'm going to save all. All right, and then we need to add in TechApp a new folder called templates. This is where the HTML will go. And then inside of templates, we need to add a new folder called TechApp, or whatever your app is called. Okay, I am going to go to, as we can go to Canvas. I'm going to get in and get the base template. So I'm going to go to the 172 and pages, and we'll go to base HTML file, and we'll copy this. Okay, so then here I am going to, at the level of templates, I'm going to add a new file, base.html. I'm going to paste this in here. I'm going to make a couple of changes. It says Python Club. I'm going to make that title Tech Reviews. There's another place where it says title. We'll do that right down here. And we'll do Tech Reviews. All right, and as I mentioned before, this is where everything will go in, is in this block content thing. This is just the template. It's the base where everything will be included. So I'm going to do save. And then inside the tech app, I'm going to create a new file, and it will be index.html. So here I am going to do a curly brace and a %sign. I'm going to do 2 % so they're both there. Then in between these, I am going to say extends, quote, base.html. And then I'm going to do a similar kind of curly brace thing, and I am going to say block content. And then at the end of this, I'm going to say end block as one word. In between, I'm going to say H2 tech reviews, and then just some kind of statement. I think I said in class, welcome to the website where everything tech is reviewed. And I also did a paragraph for, so it's still under construction. All right, so we save that. We should be able to, down here, do manage.py. So Python 3 manage py. Run server. If we don't have any errors, it should run. So I have an invalid syntax. Let's look at it again. This is on this URLs. Import from. Oh, so I got this backwards. From Django, delete import path from dot import views. All right, so if I save that, now my server is running. Notice it says I have 15 unapplied migrations. So we will look at those in a moment. We'll do the migrate in a moment. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to create I'm going to do HTTP 120, what is it? Let's look at the thing. It says where it is. 127.0.0.1:8000/TechApp. Okay. I forgot a quote. Aren't you glad that so let's do index. I forgot to close my quote. I'm going to save that. We will try again. So there it is. There's our tech reviews. All right, so that's good. Here's the last thing I'm going to do. And hopefully this hasn't all been thing. So I'm going to down here do a control C. That gets me out of the server, and I am going to now do the Python 3 manage.py migrate. And this time it'll work. One of the ways you can tell that it has worked, and this is the last thing here, I'm going to go back to PG admin. I'm going to look at tech review DB. I'm going to look under tables, and you'll see that there are all those tables. So, not in exactly the order we did it in class, and with still a couple of little burps, but that's essentially what we have done so far. So again, we set up the project, right? We created the project. We adjusted the settings. So I'm going to just real quickly go through the settings that we changed. We added TechApp to installed apps. We changed the database and to Postgres. We had to download PsychoPG, but then that was okay. I made the mistake of doing the URLs next. So in the project level URLs, we added include and we redirected it to the app level URLs. Okay, in the app level URLs, we imported our views, and we added a view called index. In views, we created that index. Def index request, and we returned it, and we returned an index HTML. So inside the tech app, we created a folder called templates, and in there we created a base HTML document that will be kind of the basis for all of our web pages. It uses Bootstrap, and it has a block content. And then inside the tech app, inside templates, another folder, we created our index file, which says that it extends base HTML, it has a content area, and we did a little bit of simple HTML inside of that. That allowed us to run the server and look at that. And then when we were done with that, I closed out of the server by doing Control-C, and I actually applied the migrations. It's not quite the order we did it in before, but that works. And that's everything we've done so far. I don't know if this video will help, but it's there. It's a little bit cleaner than the class videos. So I'm going to kill the video, and I will